Hi, Kevin Walsh here with another book review. I'm going to be reviewing Prepared by Courtney Konstantin. I listened to the audiobook version of the tale, and I had a lot of fun. Um, the narrator is Tess Irondale, and she is a really good narrator. I've never listened to a book by her before, and I'm kind of surprised because she really knew how to read a zombie book. Um, and overall, there's a lot of good stuff to talk about here. I don't have a lot of critique, just because it was a really well-rounded experience. But I'm going to start right off the bat with the start of the story, which was so strong. The author doesn't rush into it too bad. Um, what she does is set things up very well. Mostly with the characters. We saw the MC and we saw what she's like, but most importantly, we saw what the kids were like. And too many authors, just have the kids as just kind of like these side characters that kind of just hang around. But Courtney Constantine really shows that these are characters, these are people, they're kids. She shows them very realistically, and it gives the reader a real sense of urgency when things are going bad. Because we like the kids and we want to see the kids survive. And they are real characters, real people. And that was done really well. And it immersed me right in the story. Usually I'm a guy who really likes, I want to see action right off the bat. But the way she wrote the characters just really sucked me in. And it's because she was a really good writer. She doesn't over describe. She has a really good way of writing the characters, experiencing everything, and giving it a nice little creative flair to it. And I really enjoyed that. The writing gave me lots to chew on, without being too bogged down, and it kept going at a very good pace. So, and the way she illustrates her characters is awesome. The characters make real decisions, and the characters have decent backstories. Without going too crazy far back and, drowning us in all this useless information, we just get everything that's relevant. And whenever she writes, she doesn't over describes. It is just a very almost seamless writing style. There are some things I want to nitpick here and there, but I would say that they're very much nitpicks. But I'll go on to that later. But we dive right into the story of, the characters trying to get out of their house, and, travel so they could get to the compound. And that was one thing I really enjoyed about this too, was that, the idea of survival wasn't ambiguous. There was a definitive goal because the characters grew up with a prepper father who was, as the main character would describe, kind of crazy in his obsession with, preparing for the end of the world. And it kind of screwed up the way that she was raised. And that was really cool. I know that's weird to say, but it wasn't just the main character was prepared for the sake of being prepared, and she was right the whole time. No, I liked the idea that her father was the one who kind of pushed her into it as she was growing up, and this is all this stuff that she learned, at like the consequence of her personal life, and that's what we learn, throughout the story is that she's not very typical. She kind of grew up, not like everyone else, and that's because of her past, and it's because of that she's able to survive better than other people. And that is really real, and I enjoyed it, and it made the character really tangible. And I wanted this character to succeed. I liked the main character. And, and I liked the secondary characters that came in. All the characters are done very well. There were some moments that I wish the conflicts were a little bit more original. Some of them are pretty tried and tired. We've seen a lot of these cliches before. But it was done with characters I enjoyed so much that I didn't mind. Like I said, it scratches that itch that I get for those kind of stories. And she delivers and she nails it, and I enjoyed that. This is a good story with a strong female lead, and that's the one thing I wanted to add too, was that it was a strong female lead that I liked. It wasn't like other stories where the female lead is only strong because, well, she's like a man. No, this is a woman, and she is her own character, and I really like that. I really like that I had a real character to deal with, and it just wasn't your typical, ex special forces kind of guy. Because I do like those stories too, but I kind of grew tired of them for a while, and I wanted some more. I wanted a character that was real, but also realistically set to survive, if that makes sense. And anyways, back to a point that I went on a tangent about was that the character survived because of her father's trainings, and not only that, but there was also a contingency plan. I don't remember what the code word was. I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now. Maybe because I was on video. But the character calls her sister and lets her know that she says the code word, which is something that was trained and ingrained by their father, that they have to get to this compound because it's a survival compound. They have to get to it. So we have a clear and defined goal. And that makes the journey a lot more exciting. I love it when we have a destination in mind, and the reason for the destination isn't vague or ambiguous. It is a solid plan, you know, uh, because stories that kind of have a very, a loose idea of where the destination should be, a lot of them, once the conflict starts happening, realistically, the characters probably would say, well, that location isn't that important. We really don't need to go there if it's going to cause all this trouble. But the character shows us throughout the story that this compound is probably going to be worthwhile to go to because it's actually going to be a safe and secure location. And she illustrates that all throughout the story, there's nowhere that's safe and secure. I like the character, and Easton is also a good character. The kids are good. Throughout the main story, Easton's sister, Candice, I believe, there wasn't a lot of development there. Now, when the book was over, I was listening to the audiobook, and I thought I had 2.5 hours left, but it turns out that the book one ended, and there was a novelette afterwards, or a short story, and I'm like, oh shit. So, I had concluded book one, and I didn't realize I was going into a side story, which shows what happens to two characters who kind of separated, and we see how, or what they had to deal with. And in that instance, we got to see a lot more of Candace, and that was great. There was actual development in there that I enjoyed. Otherwise, I want to get into the cons. There aren't a lot, I'll be honest. It is a solid story, and I had a lot of fun. It served its purpose, and I want to continue listening. I don't have a lot of audiobooks on the go right now, so I'm definitely going to be picking up book two, probably later in the day. Actually, probably after I finish this video. But one of the things I thought could have been a bit better is that she did have a good writing style. She doesn't overstay her welcome. The way she writes is great. The way the characters interact with each other, their environment, and how they are is awesome. And the way she describes the internal conflicts is even better. It made all these characters very real, and that's her strongest suit is characters. But sometimes her writing really could have improved, maybe with a better editor. I don't want to criticize the current editor on this one, because I know when I was listening to the audiobook, there was nothing that really jumped out at me that I thought, that made no sense. It is very coherent and cohesive. The only thing I didn't like was some of the sentence structure, particularly with something called word territory. So she would have a lot of sentences that, had similar words. So you hear the word 2 or 3 times in like a very short frame. And I think it was more noticeable only because I was listening to the audiobook version. So I hear these words repeated very constantly, and I feel like she could have just done a simple workaround, or just, switched out the words for something else. And it was times like that where I felt like maybe some of the writing was a little bit rushed. But overall, I don't have a lot of qualms about the writing. Like I said, I think word variation was the only thing that I had an issue with in terms of the actual writing. Other than that, it's a solid read. I had a good time, and it was better than I expected. It wasn't like I went in with low expectations, but with those survival stories and ones that have, the cover like that, And a lot of their covers look so similar to me anyways. I don't have a low set bar, but I feel like I know what I'm getting into. And for the most part, I think I knew I was right about what I was getting into, but I just didn't think it would be that well written and that well done. Like it was executed very well, very real, compared to some of the other ones I've read in the past where they just wanted to show the action, like you were just there as like an observer. I wasn't just an observer here. I was there with the characters, and I felt like I was in the character's shoes at the time, and that is awesome. That is the real gift that she has, and I look forward to more because I want to know what happens to the characters. The story, I hope she picks it up and she runs more with, more originality for the zombies. I'm always big on that. Giving us something a little bit different, plot-wise. Don't give us any more of the cliches. Give us something really cool and different. Give us something big and exciting. And I wouldn't change much on the characters. Like I said, the characters are great. I love the characters. And the way she writes characters is awesome. And I can't wait for more. And I'm invested in the characters. That is something that doesn't happen too often with me. I don't get truly invested, but the way she wrote these ones, I really did. And she deserves full points for that. And I really look forward to continuing more. Tess Irondale's performance was awesome, and I really look forward to listening to this story more. Whenever I'm doing chores or whatever, I'm really excited to continue, and I give this one a solid thumbs up, guys. So, yeah. I'm going to end the video here before I blather on about more positives about the book, as much as the author would probably appreciate that. But I really enjoyed this one. It was a pleasant surprise, and I look forward to more from Courtney Konstantin. She's a good writer, and I'm excited to where she brings it. And yeah, that's all I've got. So you guys have a good day and keep reading. Bye.